Hello everyone, it's 𝐒𝐻𝐳𝐸𝐿, and today's video is about the new album from Arca called KicK 3. This is one of several new albums all coming out this week from Venezuelan electronic producer and artist Arca. And this is actually the first full album of Arca's that I've listened to. I was mainly familiar with Arca through her work with 𝐵𝐿𝐵, especially on the �utopia album, which she produced and co-wrote a lot of the music with 𝐵𝐿𝐵 for. So I've had Arca on my radar for some time. I've enjoyed a few singles that I've heard, but this new album seems to have got everyone really talking. The guys in my Discord especially seemed really excited about this album, so my interest has boiled over and I decided it's finally time to listen to a full Arca album. The rest of this video will be highlights from my Twitch stream where I listened to the album in full for the first time. If you'd like to join me for more full album listening parties, you can follow me over there at twitch.tv/𝐒𝐻𝐻𝐸𝐿. Do me a favor and click the like button on this video and let's get into the album. I don't feel prepared at all because I'm expecting something quite aggressive in its experimentation, and I don't feel ready. Time to listen to this madness. Track 1 is called 𝐵𝐵𝐿𝐵, which if anyone here doesn't know, that means witch.
Oh shit. La doña, la patrona en esta mierda. Mi color crema, tacones negros, falda beige, tacones beige, por la lengua, bloody claws.
Holy shit. Holy shit. It is an assault. It was kind of like hard to follow what's happening, you know, because it wasn't just noisy. It was so many ideas, one after another. But yeah, really strong opening. I was really taken with the vocals, actually. Really upfront and in your face. Yeah, very disorientating. But I have to say, not ugly. It sounds really nice, you know? Like, there's this kind of lush reverb over everything. And yeah, definitely a compelling way to start an album. All right, into track 2, 𝐿𝐶𝐴ndio. Brutal. Sounds so alien though, doesn't it? I mean, in terms of the style of the production, it reminds me a lot of like Sophie, but this is just so much more far out, you know. This sounds like it's from another planet. Especially the vocals, they're just so up in your face and intense. It takes it somewhere completely different. It feels like an assault on the senses, but in a cultural way as well, you know. Like it feels like having culture shock forced down me. As soon as I'm getting a grip on one idea, it throws something else at me. All right, moving on. Track 3 is really short. It's called 𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐵. You know what this reminds me of? The most recent 𝐒𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐸 stuff. Blimey. I mean, that was probably the most unstructured one yet, right? But I don't know, it was really compelling still. Yeah, like I said, it reminded me a bit of some of that stuff I've heard from 𝐒𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐸 that 𝐒𝐻𝐻𝐻's done in the last decade, where it's just like so freeform, using sounds that could be used to make an aggressive beat, but instead of making a beat, just letting the sounds run wild, you know, just going to town with them. Even though it's so aggressive, this music, the production sounds like kind of beautiful. And that's something I would also say about 𝐒𝐻𝐻𝐻's recent output. I tried to go into this expecting to be overwhelmed, but you can never really prepare yourself. Part of its reason to exist is to overwhelm, so just gotta let it happen. All right, track 4 is called 𝐵𝐵𝐿𝐵. I really like the groove of this one. Wow. Injury Reserve, their last album, definitely. It kind of makes it feel like this is something that's being born in this new decade, isn't it? This kind of extremely disorientating, intense kind of music and production. Everything that Injury Reserve were doing on their last album and this stuff, it feels like artists are finding new ways to break the rules, doesn't it? And make things more chaotic and intense than we imagined was possible before, which is great, really exciting times. Being able to be intense and noisy, but not just letting it be complete chaos, not just noise, like it's crafted, well thought out music. A lot of talent is going into it. And yeah, it's overwhelming and it's intense and it's awesome. I really enjoyed that last track. It was actually one of the easier ones to get into. I don't know if I'm just getting acclimated, but I found it really easy to follow and just sounded great. Track 5 is called Skull Queen. Isn't this music just the perfect soundtrack to our modern day dystopia? Something kind of Aphex Twin about those changes. Oh yeah, very Aphex Twin. And yeah, I guess a bit of Square Pusher too. Another rather short one. But yeah, as we were saying, definitely reminiscent of Aphex Twin. But I really love how Arca is able to make something that feels so clearly influenced by something we all know and love, and yet there were things on top of it that only Arca would be doing, you know, in terms of the vocals and some of those unexpected hard-hitting drums here and there. But yeah, I loved that one. And I like the way it slightly switched up the mood to something slightly more recognizable, but still felt right at place in this album. So the next song is called Electra Rex, and I recognize that title. Let's see if I recognize this. Track 6, Electra Rex.
Electra Rex complex. Dismember flex, contact tickets. Under the phone. You can clap,
There's like a trap rhythm hidden in there somewhere, isn't there? Yeah, that one was cool as hell, and I didn't remember it, so I guess we didn't listen to that one. I guess it was just Incendio that we heard as a single. But yeah, that was great. It was. I really liked how around halfway through, you could almost start to feel like a normal trap song was like trying to escape from within the chaos. And then just as you started to like feel that coming through, Arca was like, nope, we're not having any of that. And it was just chaos from there on out. But yeah, very catchy, very memorable, and yet absolutely bizarre. All right, track 7 is called Ripples. Oh, damn. I could definitely dance in the club to this one. Filthy. That's a fucking great hook. I have to say, on first listen, that was maybe my favorite so far, just because it sounded great, it was exciting, and it was also fucking catchy. Although I have to say, actually, on the whole, it's like with each song on the album, I'm getting more and more acclimated to the sound. Like in the first couple tracks, I was just so overwhelmed by the unique style of everything. Even though I could tell there was so much great stuff going on, it was like hard for me to like really absorb it and express it. At this point, yeah, I mean, that was just fucking brilliant. Just enjoyed the hell out of it. Track 8 is called Rubberneck. Wow, what is going on? It's beautiful. Okay, loved that one too. So I guess we found my favorite point in the album, because track 8 was almost as great as track 7. That change in the middle was so unexpected. And again, I get some of those early IDM kind of influences coming through, you know, in the kind of alien yet beautiful nature of it. You know, it sounds so nice, so strange, and yet, yeah, quite lovely. Yeah, that change felt like flying into the sky, an array of intense sunlight in your eyes. Love some of the chords going on in there. Al said, sounds like Arca accidentally unmuted a whole other track she had on the work table and said, you know, that sounds good, drop it. Yeah, I love that. It was a great surprise. It sounded so good. All right, track 9 is called Señorita.
I been wrapped up in some shit. Not sure who you think you're dealing with. My wrist.
Apparently machine drum is on this track. Completely torn apart. Amazing. Wow. Yeah, I'll definitely agreed on the Shy Girl reference. Absolutely. I wonder if Arca's a fan. That was fucking fantastic. I loved that one as well. The streak of this album continues for me. The last 3 tracks have all been top tracks for me. Just felt like such a groovy, hard hip-hop track. Still with Arca's style of electronic production, and then it just got torn to pieces as everything glitched out. Then it kicked back in again, and then ended off with this beautiful, gorgeous, you know, pad-led ending that was just lovely. And all that happened in 2 minutes 20. As soon as the beat started at the beginning, I was like, someone needs to rap on this. So I was very glad when that's exactly what happened. But it went even harder than I expected. All right, on to track 10. This is called My 2. Those layers of vocals. Wow. So that sounded to me like that track was actually mostly vocals, right? Like layers upon layers, manipulating the vocals up and down. And it sounded like almost every vocal part was right at the front, right in your face. It wasn't like, oh, here's the vocal part and some other vocals, like backing vocals around here. No, it was all just vocals. Pretty fucking impressive, I have to say. Let's move on to track 11. It's called Intimate Flesh. The bass is nice. Something almost emotional about this one. I'm not sure if it just felt extra emotional just because so much of the rest of the album has been so cold. Yeah, Al raises a good point with the comparison to Injury Reserve as well, that their album also got more emotional as it went on and less chaotic, although still chaotic in the grand scheme of things, but in relation to the album itself. And yeah, it's meaning that the album is flowing really nicely and feels very complete already, and where it's only been 30 minutes. So let's see how it's wrapped up. Last track is track 12. It's called 𝐤𝐸. Lovely. We were talking earlier in the Discord, weren't we, about why end of year lists and stuff like Spotify Wrapped really shouldn't be happening so early. It should be at the end of the year. This is one of the best albums of the year, quite clearly. I don't want to see any best of 2021 stuff coming out and this album not appearing on it because it came out on December 1st. Something that the aesthetic of the album cover reminded me of is the Future Sound of London album, Lifeforms. I don't know if you guys know that album. It's one of my favorite electronic albums though, I adore it. The album cover has a very kind of synthetic nature aesthetic about it, which I fucking love. And yeah, this Arca album, it has a bit of that same kind of aesthetic in the synthetic plants and everything, the alien world that it looks like it's all from. That last song also had a little bit of the aesthetic of the sound of that early Future Sound of London stuff. Yeah, that last song did have a bit of a vibe of 𝐷𝐿𝐼's Utopia, which, you know, Utopia was my only reference really for Arca before listening to this. And I do like Utopia quite a lot. And yeah, it had that vibe and it sounded great. As you know, this was my first time listening to a full Arca album. I didn't really expect that Arca would be a great album artist. I thought of Arca as more of a producer. A lot of creativity, but I wasn't expecting songwriting as such from Arca. And I guess for the most part, there wasn't too much songwriting on here, was there? It was more like constructions in sound and atmosphere. But I loved it, guys. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I'm really glad you all encouraged me to give it a listen. It was fantastic. And such a satisfying album, you know, really tight and finely tuned. Every track bringing something new and nothing outstaying its welcome. I always love that in an album. I am quite interested to hear more Arca now, but yeah, I feel like I've probably started in a good place with this one because it feels like maybe Arca has hit some kind of stride, judging from what you guys are all saying. And I was so happy with the whole album. Just so creative, and it's just one of many albums they're putting out at the moment. That's wild. So yeah, loved it. Fantastic. Definitely got me into Arca. So leave a comment down below to let me know what you thought of this album. For me, it blew my mind. If you enjoyed this video and want to help support me to keep my channels going, you can find a link in the description to my Patreon. You can also find a link to our Discord where you can chat with me and our community about this music. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, take it easy.